Breath of the Wild has already been in the talks as not only the greatest game of the year, but also just one of the best games of all time. Being 6 months into the Switch's life cycle now, it's sometimes hard to remember that the Breath of the Wild storyline isn't even finished yet. Mario Odyssey is just a week away now, but soon after that, it will be time for the second part of the Zelda DLC pack. While I think the game is already near perfect on its own, I made a list of 5 new features that I'd really like to see with this upcoming DLC pack. Number 1, new explorable landscape. Although Breath of the Wild is a huge game, I think it's fair to say that you could finish it pretty easily in under 20 hours if you knew what you were doing. In fact, there were several times during my playthrough that I knew I could just go finish the game if I really just grinded out the story quests, but there was always this desire for more exploration and wonder that kept me prolonging the conclusion to the story. I don't think I'm alone when I say that the most fun part of this game was when I was exploring each section of the map for the first time, when I had no idea what biome, enemies, or really anything I was going to run into would be. The way the game is set up really focuses on this exploration aspect, from the control scheme to the interface, and I think it's fair to say that this is actually the main draw of the game, at least initially. This is why I really hope they try to bring this feeling back with a new landscape to explore. I'm not asking for a completely new continent. I mean, I'd appreciate more than just an average size new section of the map, but really just any new large stretch of terrain I could explore would be awesome. From all of the trailers we've seen thus far, it looks like the story is going to at least initially be set in the already established world, but this doesn't mean it couldn't conclude elsewhere. Maybe there's an island off the east coast of the continent we couldn't see before, or maybe we could explore more of the mountains west of the already established map. I'm not super picky about what exactly this entails, I just really like it if they brought back that lucrative feeling of exploring new ground for the first time. Number 2, some new runes. All of the runes in this game really shape the way you navigate through shrines and divine beasts. Throughout the 120 different shrines and 4 divine beasts, I think it's fair to say that the game pushes you to use every rune available in pretty much every way possible. The new DLC pack is confirmed to have at least one new dungeon, which is probably comparable in size to a divine beast, and because it's currently impossible to fully max out your hearts and stamina wheel, it would be reasonable to guess that they're probably going to have a few new shrines here as well. Though I'm sure they could figure out unique ways to use the existing runes, I think it would be a lot more fun to add a new rune to completely switch up the dungeon game. Maybe a new rune where you can see enemies through walls that focuses around stealth-based shrines and gameplay would be cool, or maybe something like the Giant's Masks from Majora's Mask where you either grow or shrink in size so the mechanics become a little different. There are countless ideas I have for runes, but really just anything to switch the game up would make me happy. Number 3, the Hookshot. What do all my favorite Zelda games have in common? The Hookshot. Now, I know this could probably work into a rune, but this deserves its own special spot. One of the things that makes Breath of the Wild so great, and also what makes exploring so fun in the game, is how easy and natural movement feels. With the ability to glide at literally any time, and the beautiful way they added the stamina wheel to make being aware of your movement a lot easier, exploring the map in Breath of the Wild can sometimes feel like you're just walking around because of how immersed the controls make you feel. One thing I always felt was missing though was the hookshot. I don't know why this wasn't included in the game from the get-go. Being able to grapple up to certain areas would have totally completed the circle of movement abilities. I will admit though that having a hookshot would make some things nearly obsolete, such as climbing towers or making your way up to the final boss fight, but maybe that's why they saved it for after you beat the main story. Having a hookshot even might motivate me to finally start a complete master mode playthrough, because being able to explore the map again with this new mechanic could make the journey feel just a little bit new again. Number 4, a different playable character. This pipe dream is probably the least likely to happen with this DLC, especially after the recently revealed Champion Amiibo functionality. I initially thought that you might be able to gain control of each of the champions in the new pack, but that idea is pretty much dead now. And to make this concept worth actually putting in the game, they'd have to really flesh out each character, and I'm not so sure they could do this when only charging $20 for the DLC. What might be more possible though is seeing Zelda as a playable character. I mean, she has been the titular character since the beginning of the series, so it would only make sense for her to finally be playable. If they only focused on one other character with some slightly different runes and abilities than Link, I think it could be really cool to see. Zelda is seen prominently throughout the DLC trailer, traveling Hyrule to bring together the 4 regions, so it would definitely make sense for her to be the main character of this story. She's been shown as a capable character in most games leading up to this, and I think it'd be great to finally just add her in as Link's equal. Number 5, a multiplayer or co-op mode. Okay, I lied. This is definitely the least likely to happen, but hear me out. Unless they were very creative about it, I don't think there's ever going to be a player versus player multiplayer mode in any Zelda game. The mechanics just wouldn't allow for something like that to be fun. What I do think could be awesome, however, is some sort of cooperative way to play. Ideally for me, this DLC story would follow both Link and Zelda traveling together simultaneously with the option to play as either one. While it would be possible to play offline with an AI controlling the character that you're not, you could invite a friend at any point to take control of the opposite character. It would have to work sort of like Dark Souls, where you would invite a friend to your single player world or vice versa. There wouldn't be any like shared worlds, but this is my Zelda game pipe dream. I really don't think it would happen, but I honestly think it would be the perfect time to drop content like this. We've already saved Zelda, so she doesn't have to be the end game goal anymore. Her and Link are ruling Hyrule together, so why not take this already established, strong woman character and let us fully experience how capable she is? I do think that this would probably be a big enough change to warrant a completely new game, and if it isn't added with this DLC, I'd really love to see a Zelda game focused around this idea in the future. While Link will always be the hero, it's inevitable that the titular character will one day become playable, and I think they've set this DLC up perfectly for it to be the first time we see it happen. Because this game is already held in such high regard, it's sort of scary to see just how many new features will actually come out with this new DLC pack. When people hold things on such a high pedestal, they're often disappointed by how that thing actually performs. This is why, although it's fun to speculate on what could make this game awesome, it's also important to not put your expectations too high and come out disappointed in the end. Either way though, I'm sure the DLC will add at least a few hours of fun, fresh gameplay, and I'm super excited to see what it brings in these next few weeks. Let me know what you're expecting from this final update to the game, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for the latest Switch content available. This is Max from Max Culture, and thank you so much for watching.